we have to own our land. So we own our land, and the other constraints he put on was the golf had to be reasonable, and the maintenance, the utility costs had to be reasonable, et cetera, et cetera. In our community, we're an association, and as I said, 1,900 and a few homes. We own, the association, who are us, own the golf course, the swimming pools, the bocce ball course, the pickleball facility, the shuffleboard facility, all of our land around our house. And we, pardon? Well, yeah, there's tennis courts. They've converted some of the tennis courts to make pickleball courts. But we own all of those facilities. So as an owner, that's what your dues cover. So golf for us is free as an owner. And for all of those, and on your title, your land title, you're allowed to have 3 names. Our oldest son is on the title. He would get to play 3 and use all of the facilities in the park. And the park takes care of the green spaces, and all of the facilities are maintained as well. And all in for our piece of land, our coach, 1,300 square feet, our maximum cost, fixed costs, taxes, insurance, house insurance, everything, utilities, $10,000. It's lesser than a 2-week vacation that we might take somewhere else. So for us, it's really reasonable, and I love it. But there are other
questions now.
Sure, let's go for questions. Questions?
I have a
Go ahead, Jennifer.
So the Americans seem to be very passionate about their politics. So how do you handle the conversations depending on how you feel about?
You don't have them.
Do not have them. You are there for sun.
You do not talk about them.
And in Arizona, they have guns.
Yes.
Honest to God, the last time we had our carpet cleaned, the carpet cleaner had a sidearm. Do not talk politics.
That's to get out the tough stains.
And another question, if you have a car down there, then do you have to insure it down there, or do you take a car? Like, how does the insurance work with your cars, or if you drive down there and you're down there for almost 6 months?
There's 2 ways to deal with that. One is you could buy your car in California and leave it there and fly. But secondly, that we have an insurance company in our little old St. Albert that allows me to park my car in California and still use Alberta plates. And I insure it in Alberta as well. I don't know what Bob and Ash and Don do, but there was, I've had it both ways. I owned a car there and insured it there, and the DMV you license it there. No difference in costs. It was even up on the cost. So but now I have an Alberta registered car there, and the insurance company allows me to park that one and put this one on when I get back. Ash?
I have 2 of everything. So whatever I have here, I also have it in Phoenix. Yeah. I'm too lazy. I like flying. It takes 3 hours to go from here to Phoenix. And the costs are very similar for insuring your cars. They're same as in Arizona. They don't really appreciate out-of-state license plates. People are not very nice when they see Alberta license plates or Saskatchewan or anywhere else. So and they usually legally in Arizona, you can get away with it for 2-3 months. But I did that many years ago. But now I just have different vehicles in Arizona.
And I'm going to agree with Ash. I only have one down there, but I got to tell you, I could just imagine, you know, getting into everything's fine as long as you don't have an accident.
Yeah.
But if you have an accident and you're driving an Alberta registered vehicle, meaning you're paying your license plates here, you're not paying them in Arizona, and you get into an accident and they find out that car's been down there for 2 or 3 years, I'm not so sure what the situation would be. But I was cautioned. I did do it for 2 or 3 years at the beginning, and finally I just wanted to rationalize it and get back to having an Arizona car for Arizona. Again, this isn't, if you go down there for a month or two, no problem. But you know, I'd be careful on that.
I'll check that out. Dawn?
We drive down, and it's really nice having the vehicle with us. We've never looked into rental down there for a vehicle. Our Alberta insurance covers us, but we are also trying to be very careful drivers and avoiding any issues. We've noticed in the last few years, though, that there's more road rage. You hear it on the radio, the TV, and some people have flipped the bird at us, you know, as we're going by. So it's because of our plates, and I'm considering getting a vehicle so I have a little more independence for getting around. So we're just looking into that now.
David asked a question as to what we do with our properties when we're not there. We have a caretaker that checks in on our property while we're away, and my neighbors watch, and they know where we are and what we're doing. So really good. And our water systems, we have fruit trees on our property, so our water runs 365 24/7 at certain times, and we have to have that watched. So but the utilities of the water costs, even in that consideration, our water bill is probably $10 a month. So I don't know, we live in the desert, but the water seems to be really reasonable. But we do have a caretaker that checks in on our property. I don't know what Ash and Bob and Dawn do, so they can comment on that.
I've got a pool guy that comes for $85 a month, 12 months a year. I've got a house sitter that comes in for $85 a month, 12 months a year. Well, she comes in when we're not there. And we have a landscaper that comes in, costs about the same, once a month. So, you know, we have somebody watch our St. Albert home when we're down there. We have somebody watch our Arizona home when we're up here.
We have friends who pop in once a month and just check it out and make sure everything's running. The water and the electrical have to run, the electrical for the air conditioning, but that makes the cost go up a little bit during the summer. But overall, the expenses are essentially less than what we're paying up here, even with the exchange. And we have somebody here popping in and checking our house during the winter. So we've been lucky so far.
I'd like to just tag on to what Dawn said. You know, it is a lot less expensive to live down there. You're not buying winter clothing and winter coats. Your gasoline is less expensive.
For sure.
Your food is a lot less expensive. It generally costs less to live down there. So your winter expenses, then you get to have your you don't have to run the heat up here. So, you know, you have to factor that in if you're trying to make a decision about, you know, it sounds like there's a lot of additional costs, and there are, but there's a lot of savings too.
Bob is correct. It's a lot cheaper to live in the desert than it is up here, even in the winter. We set our AC, our house, at 90 degrees so that it'll come on if it gets super hot for the summer. And so far, it hasn't been hot enough, my guy tells me, so we're good. Ash?
since I mostly go to sporting events and movies and theaters, they're very reasonable, especially the hockey games. I go to quite a few Coyotes games, especially when the Oilers or the Flames are in. And lower bowl tickets along the blue line are $75 a seat,
Yeah,
not
I know. Everything's cheaper.
$275 like I pay here.
We have
Dawn?
a couple of questions in the chat box. I don't know, Anita and Bob and Don and Ash, if you can see them or not. If you don't see any conversations on the right-hand side of your screen, just go to the bottom where there's a little chat box.
Yeah, okay.
And you can click on that and you can look at some of the questions. But two of the questions that are kind of outstanding here that you haven't marked on yet is Craig asked why you chose in the US, like whether California or Arizona, versus someplace else like Mexico. Like, are you not worried about, you know, getting shot and things like that? And the second one was, is the question was, is that, is there an organized Rotary Club trip where we can all go down there and crash one of your places for a week?
You can organize it and we'll arrange to make it happen, for sure.
And I'm not worried about getting shot unless we talk about politics.
Craig, the choice, there's the Arizona and California. Arizona's brown, California's green. And the difference there is for me is totally a feeling. When we used to drive down, coming down I-15 and coming down out of the mountains and coming around, going into the valley and into an area that's surrounded on three sides by mountains and the desert, and everything is green. I had the feeling that this was the place it was going to be. And we did research Phoenix as well. We did own a place there many, many years ago and chose not to use the winters for there. But that's, to me, that was for me, that was what it was about.
We drove through there one time on the way to California for a cruise, and it was like going into a little oasis as you go through the Palm Desert, Indigo, Palm Springs area. It's just unbelievable. You do come out of brown and rock and dry and heat, and it's like a totally different world.
And we do get snow, except it's above 5,000 feet and we don't have to shovel it. Okay.
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
One serious one. How do the governments view travel days where you're in more than one country in one day, such as when you're leaving, you're in Canada and the US, or perhaps Canada, US, and Mexico in one
day? They count that as a day. So I flew from here to Miami to catch a cruise. And I was only there for about 3 hours, but it was counted as a day being in the States.
Okay. And a less serious one, Ash, how many nights do you have visitors with you there?
Not so many now. Used to have more, but
Ash has a house that's larger than most hotels. So
it's fun having people. I enjoy having people.
There's a comment here. Some companies have lifetime plans up to $10 million of coverage. I'm just encouraging everybody. Sure, they have a lifetime plan up to 10 million, but that doesn't address what's covered. And I urge you to talk to somebody. If you're going down for a couple of weeks, all of those plans are okay for accidents, okay? But if you have an existing heart problem, and it may be under control, some companies say that your condition must be stable for 6 months, some for 3 months. And if you had a change in medication 5 months ago, you've got to make sure you buy it from the company that has the 3 month stability of condition, not 6 months. It is really important stuff, guys. Talk to Jody or myself, phone somebody. To say that you have coverage up to 10 million, it just doesn't address what's going to be covered if there's a if there's a health-related incident.
And
think
some companies do not cover for pre-existing conditions. They just do not. So
Or the conditions have to be stable for a period of time.
Mhm.
We're covered, huh?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
do
there's
we,
different
do
issues.
we
There's
have any more
different issues.
questions?
Go ahead.
Any more questions for
if
anybody?
I'm just
anybody-
wondering if the four of you connect up with other Rotary clubs when you're down there, and do you do makeup meetings? Do you get involved in projects?
I do. I have a Rotary meeting every Wednesday at the Palms to Palms Rotary Club. And I go every Wednesday. We do some of the same things as we do here. And they are shut down now as well. So, but I do. I have my own Rotary Club down there. And great people, just good.
But not as good as ours.
Our teacher of the month came
No,
from
it's not.
Arizona.
Nice.
We do have, Ash and I used to go to a Rotary meeting, but they changed to once every 2 weeks. And frankly, it got complicated. And so I don't think we're going quite as often.
It got complicated because golf is cheap on Thursday morning when the Rotary Club meets.
Pick another Rotary Club. Come on.
They said they're curious about the price of renting for 2 to 3 months. And yeah, I think, you know, obviously depending on the quality, $3,000 to $5,000 a month. The problem is getting them. If you only want it for 2 or 3 months, you probably want it for February and March or something. Well, everybody else wants it for February and March. You'll get the best deal if you decide to rent for 6 months and take it for October through March or April. You'll get a much better deal.
Just
when we were
one.
considering buying, we looked at rentals, and the lowest was about $3,000 a month, and the quality just wasn't there. So that's what kind of turned us more to the buying. They were older homes, not well maintained. It was high season, and they wanted to make their money in the 6 months for the snowbirds.
And the rentals in the Coachella Valley, they're pretty much the same. The one unique feature to our valley is that there are no street lights. We have no light pollution. They and Alan made the comment because he said they were there and said, you can't see where you're going at night. Well, you sure can. All the walls are lit up, and as long as you know where you're going, you don't need street lights. And to me, that is such a unique feature. And I don't know how many pick up on it that have visited there, but light pollution is non-existent in the Coachella Valley all the way from Palm Springs to Indio and through the pass. So, yeah.
Okay, if there are no more questions, we can move on to a new member.
For sure.
I have a comment,
Oh, Elliot, hello.
if I can. There is an option where the Canadian dollar is par. We get 5 days of snow. It is a little cooler in the winter, but the Canadian dollar is par, and you're only about a day drive away.
Where did you sneak in from, Elliot?
It's an early morning for me, so I had to think hard to put that sentence together.
Okay.
Great to have
About
you
Alberta
involved
plates
again,
then,
Elliot.
Elliot.
I
to
still
see you.
have Alberta plates. And they love them out here because they know that there's actually money going into the economy.
Okay, well, that's great to hear from you, and thanks very much. We do have to move on now, and I'm going to bring up Daryl Baker. We have a new member.
Yes, kind of exciting day to have a new member come to the club. And Colin Steffes, I've known Colin for many, many years, and we've developed a good friendship, and he's a great guy. So I have a bio to read so that all of you can get to know a little bit more about Colin, and then I'll turn it over to Craig or Ann, whoever's going to do the formal end of things. Many of you will have met Colin. He's been out to several meetings before we got shut down, so you probably had a chance to meet him. But here's a little information about Colin. So Colin and his wife, Julie, have been residents of St. Albert for almost 13 years. They've been happily married for over 20 years and moved to St. Albert to raise their 3 sons, Adam, 15, Daniel, 12, and Liam, 10, in their home on Barrymore Drive. Colin's been very active in the St. Albert community as a volunteer, coach, and regional municipal manager. Working in partnership with Mayor Nolan Kraus, St. Albert FCSS, and St. Albert RCMP, Colin chaired the Braeside Working Committee for 5 years, serving to address the impact of drug use and delinquency in the Red Willow Park and Braeside community. The efforts brought about several positive improvements to the neighborhood, and as a result, he was awarded the Province of Alberta Solicitor General Award for Crime Prevention. Colin was also a public member at large, serving on the St. Albert Economic Advisory Committee for 4 years, including 2 years on the Executive Committee. He has been both a volleyball and soccer coach for much of his adult life, including coaching with the St. Albert Soccer Association. He has recently become a member of the Knights of Columbus. As a professional, Colin graduated from the University of Alberta with a bachelor's degree in education with a business major. Before Colin started full-time work, he took time to travel to Japan, where he lived for 1 year. He taught English and business in Tokyo, while also playing for a men's club volleyball team and learning to love sushi. He chose to pursue the business side of his education after graduating, working as an independent project manager in the land development and construction sector for 10 years. Over those 10 years, he always enjoyed the conceptual and upfront planning side of his work, so he opted to transition to municipal planning and development with Sturgeon County in 2007. And during his over 12 years with the county, Colin served in several managerial roles associated with planning and development, economic development, intergovernmental and regional affairs, and senior leadership. His work culminated at the general manager level for almost 3 years, overseeing the integrated growth division for Sturgeon County. He left the county last August and has been providing land development consulting services since. Colin's wife, Julie, has been an elementary school teacher with the Edmonton Public Schools for 20 years, currently stationed at Glenora Elementary School. Colin, Julie, and the boys are a very active family, with mom and dad helping to coach, manage, and chauffeur 1 golfer and 2 soccer players throughout most of the year. Family also loves to travel, with Kihei and Maui holding a dear place in their hearts. In the summer, they're a golfing family that like to spend time in the interior of BC, losing golf balls in beautiful mountain gorges. Otherwise, in their free time, you'll find them on the boat or playing golf out at Seba Beach at the family cabin. Now you know a little bit more about Colin. I think you can understand why I thought he'd be a great Rotary member. Him and I have talked about Rotary a number of times over the years, and recently, I guess in the last probably 6 months, we got talking again, and he expressed some more interest. So brought him in for a few meetings, and he's a great guy, and he's going to be a great addition to the club. So I'll turn it over to Craig or Ann, whoever's going to run with it from here. But Colin will be great.
So I believe Laszlo is reading the charge.
Yeah, one moment here. Let's share a screen. All right, Colin, your acceptance into Rotary is not because of any family, fraternal, or religious affiliation, but rather because you are an individual of high principles, a leader in your profession, and one who is anxious to offer greater service to humanity. Rotary is based on a classification system. You are a representative of your vocation in this Rotary Club, just as each of us is a representative of our own chosen business or profession. You should know that your classification is loaned to you, and should you move or change positions, your classification may be transferred to someone else who's active in the same field. While Rotary membership is an honor and a privilege, it involves corresponding duties and responsibilities. Membership in Rotary means, above all else, your involvement. We expect you to become a member of at least one of the committees to put your talents to work for the betterment of the club and the community. Involvement also means that you should attend as many regular meetings as possible. One of the greatest privileges and one of the first objectives of Rotary is friendship and fellowship. The old maxim, those who would have friends must show themselves to be friendly, is very valid. In this connection, Rotary Fellowship goes beyond the club level. You can enjoy Rotary Fellowship at the many area, district, and international levels, and we urge you to attend as many of these functions as possible, even during COVID. The other great cornerstone of Rotary is service, not self. Rotary can perform its task and touch and transform business and social institutions only through individuals who are living examples of its creed, strong belief in service to others. Our community will know and judge Rotary through your representation of its charter, our character, and service. You are accepted as a member because we believe our ideals and our organization to be safe with you. To better enjoy Rotary is to know Rotary better. And please take every opportunity to ask questions about Rotary from all your fellow members. We'd like to welcome you to our Rotary Club.
Thank you very much, everybody. I guess if I might have the opportunity just to say a quick couple words. As Daryl mentioned, you know, over the last couple of months, he had talked to me through some of our discussions about the merits of coming out to the Rotary Club. And I'll tell you instantly, you know, seeing some familiar faces and recognizing the caliber of individuals that are participating in this chapter really struck me. You know, I mean, it was great to see some familiar faces: Daryl, Charlene, Matt Carter, Kathy, David Dooley. But it was also really neat to get to know some faces I had not met before and see how friendly and welcoming you were. And, you know, what struck me that while it's important to contribute back to the community, it's okay to have fun doing it. And instantly the camaraderie and just the close-knit feel of this group really grabbed me. So there was no question in my mind about wanting to be part of it. And my background is, as Daryl spoke to, I'm a bit of a Heinz 57. I've got a little bit of everything, but not, you know, a master of much. So I come with willingness and eagerness and a lot of questions, and that's kind of what you get with me. So I'm very happy to join, and I thank the group for welcoming me.
Welcome.
We do have a certificate, which we will get to in due course.
I'll enjoy it virtually. In fact, I'll take a screenshot right now. There we go.
So something really strange has happened to my. Okay, well, my screen has gone a little strange and I can't see everybody. Okay, that's great. Welcome, Colin. And while we're here, last week we announced that Jackie Hansen had rejoined the club. So Jackie, do you want to just do a 30-second update on what you're up to now?
Thank you. I wasn't expecting that, so I haven't heard anything, but no, well, I'm a city councillor, as some of you may know, for the city of St. Albert. And other than that, I am trying to get through the COVID season with everybody else and get our city back up and running. So we look forward to getting all of your feedback. At least golf starts on Monday. Other than that, I'm, you know, as I said before, I am thrilled to be back with Rotary, and I'm kind of sorry that my absence was so long, because I know all the good work you do. So thank you for allowing me to come back and be part of your group. Look forward to it.
Welcome, Jackie. Okay, so moving on, do we have birthdays and anniversaries, Mark?
We do. Member birthdays: Duff Jameson on May 6th and Daria also on May 6th. Whoop, whoop, Daria. Date joined Rotary: Frank Prosperi Porta on May 1st is 29 years. Believe that. And that's it for this week.
Okay, do we have any announcements from club committees, chairs, members?
Regarding the flag?
Oh, flags. Do you want to do flags, Laz?
Yeah, sure. So we're up to about 350 flags. We're literally selling about 50 a day with our promotion. We have about 550. So if you haven't sent me a check by picture or e-transfer or whatever else, it's going quick. Hopefully, and I think closing is May 13th, and we're going to organize a building B and that kind of thing, but I'm waiting to hear from Rob. So just watch your emails.
Great, thanks. Alan, a lot of members in the club have passed on their thanks for your COVID updates.
Welcome.
So thank you very much for doing that. The humor is good and your perspective on things excellent. So thank you very much on behalf of everybody. And now it's time for the Sergeant at Arms.
All right, can everyone hear me? Yeah, everyone? Yeah, hopefully, good. All right, we've got a really nice bottle of Chianti we're giving away today. It's 2017, looks gorgeous. Who do I trust? Who do I trust, to be honest?
Natalia.
Let's go with Brian Thatcher. Brian, I need you to pick a number between 1 and 43 for me.
Let's go 28.
28, 25, 26, 26.
Unbelievable.
Scott Mockford, you get the wine today. That's awesome.
Look like a Muppet.
I know Dooley is itching to take on this segment, so let's start with Happy Bucks and we'll let Dooley start.
Well, as some of you have seen on social media this week, we added to the Dooley family. So Sigrid Ann was born on Tuesday morning, as it would have been up here at the Sturgeon Hospital, weighing in at a smallest of all the babies now, 7 pound 12. And as you can see, both Mum and Sigrid are doing quite well. So very happy for that.
That's wonderful. Congratulations. Do we have any other Happy Bucks? You have to unmute yourself if you have Happy Bucks.
Yeah, John, it's Myron here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you, Myron.
So I've announced my retirement from the Royal Bank after 40 years service, effective July 31st. So I'm just got a couple of months here and then I'm leaving RBC.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
40 years, wow. What were you, 12 when you
Congrats,
started?
Myron. 40 years is a good long time.
Yep.
Awesome. Any other Happy Bucks?
Yeah, my dad has one.
Okay.
He said that on Thursday they're gonna have a concert for the patient that they have. So
COVID patient.
Awesome. Well, that's globally happy. That's awesome. Who else do we have? Any other Happy Bucks out there?
I have a Happy Buck. We just had the announcement yesterday that optometry can go back to work. So we're pretty excited about that. Although we've been seeing patients for emergencies and urgent care. On Monday, we go back to routine eye care. So that is a huge plus for us. And we're really excited to go back to work and we're prepared. And we have enough of our own PPE, even though we didn't get any from the government yet. So we're excited to go back to work.
I think a lot of people are feeling some relief there, so good for you guys.
Hi, Rebecca.
Yeah, I'll be booking in for my eye tests, so. All right, and any last calls for Happy Bucks before I get to finding? Going once?
I have two.
Daria?
So one, I already shared at the beginning, I completed the course requirement for my MBA and it's like, I'm super excited about it. I'm getting some of my life back. So I have one more major deliverable and then I will be done. So I'm super, super happy about that. And the second one, I did a fundraiser for my birthday for a food bank. And I just did like $300 just to get some money, some extra money to our food bank because there are already a lot of good initiatives going on to raise money. And with the help of my friends and family, I ended up raising $600. So, you know, thank you to my Rotarian friends that contributed to that. But that was my only wish this year. I wanted to find a way in my busy schedule to still contribute to our community. So thank you.
That is great. And just on that note, did anyone, I'm hoping everyone heard about the guy celebrating his 100th birthday in Britain. He wanted to raise $10,000 for the health service. He raised 30 million instead.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was,
I didn't do that, but 600 bucks.
600 bucks is great. All right, I'm going to jump into finding then, because I've got some really fun screenshots to share. So let's start. This fine goes out to Alan Murdoch. It is the I did my spiel and now I'm having a nap fine. So we'll give that one to Alan. Next one we have, this is the mad scientist lookalike fine. So Elliot, you can have that one. Did that one share?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, because every time I get them, I post it, I just see Alan Murdoch. So
you can find guests.
I can find you all I want.
Damn.
Yeah.
We do it by e-transfer now.
Member according to Club Runner, so pay up. Okay, this is the empty chair fine. So Kevin Underhill, you can e-transfer me some money for that, for the empty chair. What do we have next? This is the half a head fine. So love looking at your forehead there, Sandra, but you know, you can email a bit on that fine for us. And this is the I wanted to be a sports announcer, but dad made me be an accountant fine. So Jason will take some money off you for that one. And for this one, I'd like to find Myron's ear.
How do you know it's my ear?
This is the Where's Waldo fine, or in this case, Where's Fern Prue fine, if anyone can see him, hiding in the bottom corner there. And the last one I have for you today, this is going to go out as the Mom, Leave Me Alone fine. So Karina Dooley cleaning her son's nose on the screen. That's awesome. So that's all I have for fines. We do have one last thing. We've got a 50-50 draw that's been going. So thank you to everyone who pitched in. Rebecca, if you could draw a number.
Okay.
I emailed out all your numbers this morning. Hopefully you guys got it. If not, I've got them listed here.
Am I
So
reading it or are you?
go ahead.
Okay. 833904.
That would be Doug Campbell. So Doug, you get 30 bucks.
John, you forgot about me.
Can you hear me? Sorry, do you want to draw another number?
No, for the wine tickets. You forgot about me. You picked somebody else to do it for you.
Yeah, I guess yeah, fair enough, Natalia. I'll remember you next week and I'll pay a fine for that.
It's okay.
So, with the wine draw, if you guys want to email me $5 through e-transfer, that would be great for next week. If you want to do multiple weeks, so you want to buy a batch run, go right ahead. You can email me. I think we have 5 meetings left with Anna's president, right? Is that right, Anne?
Oh, I haven't counted.
Yeah.
Okay.
John, I think you mean 50-50.
Pardon me?
You said wine draw. I think you mean 50-50.
No, 50-50. I meant 50-50. You're right, Doug. So if you want to email me up to 5 weeks worth, you can do so, and I'll make record of that, so you only have to send me once. Yeah, Craig Mallon, sure you haven't counted, Ann. You know exactly how many minutes are left. So with that, I'm all done, but the people that I've listed in the fines, if you could please email me your fine, that would be great. And then I'll forward all the money over to Laszlo. Yeah, so have a great week, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, John. So as we know, the restrictions are beginning to be lifted. We know that golf courses are open, but not the clubhouses. And I think at the moment, there are no public gatherings of more than 15 people. So let's keep our fingers crossed that everything goes according to plan and that we can meet in person. There are some advantages to meeting online. We don't have to drive and get up a lot later, but it would be really nice to see everybody again. So with that, it is time for the four-way test.